3.1 Developing a social media crisis management plan.
A social media crisis management plan is a proactive approach that organizations can use to prepare for potential social media crises. The plan should include the following steps. 1. Define what constitutes a crisis. Establish clear criteria to determine when a situation escalates into a crisis. 1. This may include negative sentiment, potential damage to the brand, and the scope of the issue. 2. Create a crisis response workflow. Outline the steps to be taken when a crisis is identified, including notifying key stakeholders, activating the response team, and monitoring the situation. 3. Develop a crisis communication plan. Identify the messaging and channels to be used during a crisis, as well as a pre-approved list of potential statements and responses. 4. Conduct regular audits. Assess the organization's social media presence and identify potential vulnerabilities or areas of improvement. 5. Review and update the plan. Regularly review the crisis management plan and update it as necessary to ensure its effectiveness. 3.2 Identifying key stakeholders and their roles during a crisis. During a social media crisis, various stakeholders play crucial roles in managing and resolving the situation. Key stakeholders may include 1. Executive leadership, responsible for making strategic decisions and providing overall guidance during a crisis. 2. Public relations team, handles external communication and manages the organization's messaging during the crisis. 3. Social media team, monitors and engages with the online community, provides updates, and responds to questions and concerns. 4. Legal team, advises on potential legal issues and implications during the crisis. 5. Customer service team, addresses customer concerns and inquiries related to the crisis. 3.3 Creating a social media crisis response team. A dedicated crisis response team is essential for managing social media crises effectively. To assemble a response team, consider the following. 1. Identify core team members. Select individuals from key stakeholder groups who have the skills, knowledge, and authority to manage a crisis. 2. Define roles and responsibilities. Clearly outline each team member's role and responsibilities during a crisis. 3. Establish communication channels. Ensure that the team can communicate effectively and efficiently during a crisis, using tools such as group chats, conference calls, and email. 4. Conduct regular team meetings. Meet regularly to review and update the crisis management plan and discuss potential scenarios.
3.4 Preparing and training employees for a social media crisis.
Employee preparedness is a crucial aspect of social media crisis management.
To prepare employees for potential crises, consider the following.
1. Develop a social media policy. Establish guidelines for employee conduct on social media, including appropriate content sharing and engagement. 2. Train employees on the crisis management plan. Ensure that all employees are familiar with the plan and their roles during a crisis. 3. Conduct regular crisis simulations. Test the organization's readiness for a social media crisis by conducting realistic simulations. 4. Encourage continuous learning. Provide resources and opportunities for employees to stay informed about social media best practices and crisis management strategies.
3.5 Establishing internal and external communication protocols.
Communication protocols are necessary during a social media crisis to ensure effective information flow. To establish these protocols, consider the following. 1. Internal communication channels. Set up channels for efficient communication among key stakeholders and the crisis response team, such as instant messaging apps, email, or intranet platforms. 2. External communication channels. Identify suitable platforms for communicating with the public during a crisis, including social media, press releases, and blog posts. 3. Message approval process. Establish a process for approving and disseminating messaging during a crisis to ensure consistency and accuracy. 4. Monitoring and reporting. Set up mechanisms to track the effectiveness of communication efforts and make adjustments as needed. By following these guidelines, organizations can develop an effective response strategy and mitigate potential damage to their brand's reputation during a social media crisis.